welcome back to my channel. So today I'm very excited. I partnered with CVS for this video and I'm going to be showing you guys a tutorial on this look. It is a bronzy summer makeup tutorial, but I really wanted to take it to that next level and I wanted to make this a sweat-proof, heat-proof, budge-proof, you know, summer-proof makeup tutorial. So I'm using like my favorite long-wearing, long-lasting products, and you know, these are products that I really think will just withstand all the hotness and just last longer for you, keep you looking a little bit more fresh longer in the heat. So I'm also going to be sharing a lot of really great techniques as well, so I hope you guys find all of that helpful. But yeah, before we get into the tutorial, I would love it if you guys would subscribe to my channel so you can stay updated whenever I upload my next video for you, and I would love it if you guys would come follow me on Instagram as well. But other than that, we can just get into the tutorial now. So to start off with skin prep, I'm gonna take the Wet n Wild Primer Water. This is a really nice product to use to spray all over the base because it just kind of gives the makeup something a little bit tackier to grip to. So I just spray that all over the face and then give it a couple moments to dry. I'm gonna be using this one from CoverGirl. This is their Base Business Skin Primer in the illuminating version. I'm gonna take a really small bead of this and then apply it to the skin just so I can get a little bit of reflection peeking out from behind the makeup. So this is a great base to start off with. We have the primer water, which is kind of giving a little bit more of a tacky, grippy finish to the skin, and then the illuminating primer, which is going to peek out from behind the foundation that we're putting on top of it, because we want this to be really nice and light and glowy. Now, you can do a long wear foundation if that's what you want, but I personally find there's so many great long wear foundations. I'm not, you know, saying they don't work, but a foundation that I think always works even in hotter weather and always manages to stay put is the L'Oreal True Match. I love this. There's so many different shades. I think it's one of the most beautiful formulas of foundation as well because this sets down to a satin finish. So I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a shake. I am using the shade W4. So I've just poured the foundation on my hand, maybe a little bit too much, but we'll fix that later. So I'm just going to dot this all over the skin. You do want to work somewhat quickly with this foundation because it does set pretty fast, but you do have a couple moments of playtime. So just kind of disperse it all over the skin. And then I'm going to take a Rimmel blending brush, blending sponge, and I'm just gonna lightly tap the first layer of foundation onto the skin. When you're building your foundation, you wanna work in really thin, light layers to build the coverage instead of going in with one super full coverage layer at first. That's just gonna make you look really cakey and it's just gonna be too much product to work with. It's not gonna turn out well. Okay, so once we've got this first layer really nice and blended out, we can go in with one more layer just to kind of add a little bit more coverage wherever we want it. I've got a little bit of hyperpigmentation. The corners of my nose are a little bit extra red. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more and just blend out that extra coverage. So when you're layering this foundation on top of itself, make sure that you do this light layer technique where you slowly start to build coverage. I think you'll just get the most natural looking appearance to the skin and you won't have to deal with the foundation being too heavy, feeling heavy, and looking cakey. Now I'm gonna go in with concealer and I'm gonna be using one of my personal favorites. It's the Rimmel Stay Matte Concealer. I really like this one because although it does set down matte, because of that, it lasts so much longer through hot weather. I'm gonna use this to brighten up underneath the eyes. I'm gonna put a little bit of extra concealer right around the corners of my nose. I just see a little bit of redness lingering through there. And then we're just gonna blend this concealer out using the warmth of our fingers, really pushing the concealer into the skin so it's not just laying on top. I wanna make sure that this looks as, you know, realistic as possible. And most of the time that means spending extra care really blending product into the skin. I'll kind of bounce back and forth between the sponge and my fingers. I'm going to quickly fill in my eyebrows. I'm using this one's from L'Oreal. This is their Brow Stylist Definer in the shade Brunette. Set my foundation and concealer, keep it lasting as long as possible. I'm gonna use the Maybelline Fit Me powder. This is one of my personal favorites. I'm just gonna pick it up on a big fluffy brush and I'm gonna lightly tap this all over the face. I really like this powder because it's so finely milled, it never looks chalky or too matte. And it also has just the tiniest bit of barely there noticeable shimmer. So it keeps the skin looking very natural and very lifelike. And I'm just doing these patting motions because you don't want to swipe across the base. Then your foundation and concealer will look a little bit patchy. So you wanna make sure you're just doing these light tap, tap, tap motions. To start off on the eyes, I'm gonna take a little bit of bronzer. This is the Maybelline City Bronzer in the shade 200. It's got more of a neutral undertone to it. So I'm gonna use this to just kind of define the crease of my eye, put a little bit of shape there. And then I'm gonna be taking one of the Neutrogena satin eyeshadows. This one is in the shade Desert Rose. And I'm just going to lightly kind of swirl this all over the eyelid, pulling it up into the crease really softly. Next, I'm gonna be taking another Neutrogena satin shadow. This one is in the shade Dusty Mauve. And I'm going to pop this on the outer corner, kind of pull it into the crease as well, just to add a little bit of definition back there. I'm also gonna hit that lower lash line with Dusty Mauve. And then I'm gonna pop a little bit of gel eyeliner on. This one's from Neutrogena. Now this one is in the shade Brown, which I think is a little bit softer and easier to pull off than a black, especially for right now because this is a daytime look. So I'm just gonna tight line my eyes with this. Get those lashes looking a little bit more full. Line my waterline. Now, gels are one of the best eyeliners to use when you want a lot of long wear and you don't want to have to worry about it slipping around the face. The gel is going to stay in place for many hours, whereas a regular eyeliner pencil is not going to last nearly as long as a gel. So if you want to go for something long wearing, definitely get a gel formulated liner. Now we're going to go in with bronzer. So I'm going to start off with the Maybelline City Bronzer in the shade 300. And I'm gonna start off by applying this around the perimeter of the face. So I'm actually gonna hold my hair back, and I like to really kind of push the bronzer into the hairline so that I get the most natural looking bronze. So really back in that hairline, you're really gonna kind of work that bronzer in so that you get the most natural look of the bronzer actually touching the skin. That's how you get that really nice, natural looking sun kiss that looks more realistic to something that you would actually get from the sun. So I'm also gonna take that on the ears as well. And then I'm just gonna slowly start pulling the product in towards the center of the face. So next I'm gonna go in with more of a luminous bronzer to really kind of wake the skin up and keep it from looking too matte, too powdery, too chalky. So I'm gonna be using another one of my favorites. It's the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And again, let's start on the perimeter of the face and slowly start to swirl this more towards the center. But this bronzer will really just kind of help the skin reflect back a little bit more light, look a little bit more lifelike, and it won't look so matte. So I'm just gonna lightly swirl this all over the skin just to get a nice bronzage going. I'm gonna be using one of my favorite blushes for this bronzy, like sun-kissed look. It's from CoverGirl. It's in the shade Cinnamon Toast. I've talked to you guys about this so many times, but it's just a really pretty brown blush that just tonally looks really good with bronzers. So I'm just gonna lightly apply this to the apples of the cheeks. It's a really soft, sheer, natural looking flush. And I'll just kind of work it on the apples and slowly blend it back on the cheek. To add some highlight to the skin, I'm gonna be using the CoverGirl Super Stunner palette. This is really nice because you get 3 different shades, so you can kind of customize and get it to look the way that you want. So I'm gonna be mixing these 2 shades right here, and then just lightly apply this to the high points of the face. Now, you guys know that I love using cream products, but I just find for myself personally, when I really want my makeup to last as long as possible, I get the best long wearing results, most of the time, the best long wearing results from powder. So that's why I wanted to do more so a full face of powder for you guys. For mascara, I'm gonna be using the L'Oreal Superstar Mascara. This is the waterproof version because if you guys want your mascara to last through the heat, you've got to be using waterproof. It's the only thing that I think really withstands sweat and just humid weather, and your lashes will always look really nice and perky. So I'm starting off with the side number 1, which is the primer. And I'm just gonna get this all over the eyelashes. And then I'm gonna go in with side number 2, which is the actual mascara. It's actually really nice because the primer for this mascara is black. Usually they're kind of white, And sometimes they're trickier because you can sometimes still see the white primer underneath the mascara. So I like that this one has a black primer. This mascara is so good. Look how dramatic my eyelashes look. And then I'm also going to hit my lower lashes. Just a little bit down there. I'm gonna set my brows really quick. I'm using the NYX Proof It. Now this is technically a waterproof mascara topper that you can use, but I really like this to set my brows because it keeps them in place all day and basically keeps your eyebrows waterproof. So even the brow product that you have that you use to fill in your brows, this will keep that on the skin as well. It's just a really great shield against your own sweat on your face so that your brow color doesn't come off either. I'm gonna line my lips. I'm using NYX Nude Truffle. Blend it out with my finger, make it a little bit softer. And then I also wanna use a long wearing lip product, so I'm gonna use this one from L'Oreal. It's in the shade I Create. And what I'm gonna do is just lightly dot it on the lips and then shear it out with my finger. It's a really pretty kind of like soft petal pink. It's a little bit more dusty, so it's not too pink. A bit of gloss on top. I'm gonna use the Rimmel Stay Glossy in Nonstop Glamour. Just so my lips have a little bit of movement. I do find that liquid lipsticks tend to be a little bit more drying. So I always like to put like a little bit of gloss or a little bit of balm just to have some comfort on the lips. But these Rimmel ones are really great because they're kind of really sticky and they're supposed to last 12 hours. That's gonna depend on what you're doing, but I do find that these are some of the longest lasting lip glosses as well. And then to finish the look off, we're gonna go back in once again with that Wet n Wild spray, just to take away any of the powdery finish to the skin. And this is really gonna keep everything locked and loaded and just help prevent the makeup from breaking down or being sweat off. It's really just going to seal everything in, and then you just have to, you know, wait for it to dry. All right guys, so this is the finished look. I know I always do makeup tutorials and I always talk about how much I love cream products and stuff like that, and there are some long-wearing cream products, but I do find that when I really want my makeup to last, if I'm gonna be sweating a lot and it's gonna be really hot and humid, I think powder tends to work the best. In my personal experience, I feel like it generally lasts just a little bit longer. It's a little bit more budge proof. So I wanted to create a tutorial that's heat proof, predominantly around powder products, because that's just what I found has worked the most. So I really hope you guys found this helpful and informative. I will have all of the products from CVS linked and listed in the description box down below, as well as a link for you guys to join the CVS Beauty Club, because it's a really great way for you guys to earn rewards quickly. So that'll all be in the description box for you guys. But if you have any questions regarding any of these products or any techniques for this, you know, makeup tutorial and trying to get your makeup to last longer, I will always do my best to help you guys. So be sure to leave a comment down below, let me know. And please subscribe if you didn't earlier, and come follow me on Instagram too if you didn't earlier. Other than that, guys, I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching this one. Bye, guys.